It's hard for me to say, but you can actually smell fear. You smell death.
The security services are accused of killing 8 members of the public.
We asked why the heavy-handedness.
Make no mistake, we have a long way to go.
Whether it started off as a mistake and then they made another one, or did somebody do something?
We need sanitizers, we need food.
In Johannesburg, a plainclothes policeman chases residents with a 6-foot whip.
It came from China. It should have been stopped. Could have been stopped on the spot.
The police fire rubber bullets at nurses protesting.
Like other parts of the world, the lockdown in South Africa was imposed suddenly, forcing already struggling workers to survive without an income.
They didn't do it for some reason, and we're going to have to find out what that reason was. But people are absolutely scared.
But the lockdown gives them extraordinary power. The lockdowns put everyone into strain. The number of fatalities comparable with the virus itself.
The question I want to answer today is, what is God's message to us in this troublesome, trying time we are facing?
There's clear evidence that the lockdown has been working. The World Health Organization has commended and praised South Africa for acting swiftly, for following scientific advice.
He touched my hand and tore at the heartstrings. The centerpiece of the pupils of my heart is when somebody says, we are not going to be killed by COVID-19, we are going to be killed by starvation.
What about us who are not working? We lost our job, staying at home. Our kids are starving. They'll ask you for the food. You can't provide nothing.
Gijimisa ngapha nangapha asikhoni kwenzani sizivalele nje ezindlini fana ne-house arrest lebasenzele wona sibona ngathi kubuya i-apartheid.
No pay now, we are starving now.
We need to work. We need to fight.
When people are desperate, they don't always think clearly and they make use of weaknesses in the neighborhoods.
What used to be a peaceful rainbow society is now being driven apart by hunger.
We were promised that we will get our food parcels on the 9th of April, only to discover when the food truck stops, he advised us, your wife is not welcome, you go home.
Donderdag het gekom, donderdag het gegaan, die 9 April, daar het nooit niks gekom nie. As 3 swart ou tannies ook, wat saam my gewag het van hulle, en hulle het ook nie gekry.
In this community, the whites and blacks, they don't have a fight. They never fight.
The morning, we handed out bread and we gave them cabbage. It was thrown back at my gate.
So they still came up in a mass and demanded and became violent. We want the same you got.
She gave them bread, and the black people, she gave 4 slices of bread for 12 people. So these guys were very upset.
I've decided, then you're not hungry.
And then all of these guys, they put that bread back in the bag, they took it back to her. They said, listen, take your food, give it to the white people, we don't want it, we'll make another plan.
When you look at socio-economic conditions of the 58.78 million South Africans, if you thought COVID-19 is a catastrophe, wait until you have social unrest as a result of people being unable to feed themselves. I think that is going to be a much more bigger challenge.
We're not interested in any politics at this point because we know if we get involved in politics, people won't get the food. And we are doing this 100% with a group of private individuals.
We've already got 25% of our kids that have forms of malnutrition, that have stunting as a problem. We have huge problems there. But now we're going to see hunger in such a way that I don't see it not costing lives too. And that's the tragedy of this.
It has taken us time for people to understand that courage literally has one sole purpose, is to get donations and to buy food. I think if I'm to give you the stats of this week, I reckon 10,000 people were fed this week.
On the other side of Johannesburg sits a multiracial rainbow nation in a squatter camp.
So the time the lockdown had started, that's the time we had to apply for the food parcels, and we didn't receive anything yet. We are still waiting. Our own communities is helping us.
Through him helps a lot. He's got sponsors would bring us food for everybody. Big trucks. That helps us with the basics. Tin foods, meal,
dry food,
rice, yeah, dry food.
You got to be a meter away from the next guy. They got a line to stand, and so it's done very well. The police are doing a good job there.
Today we're helping people that are very disadvantaged. We've dropped clothes and everything. We're not allowed by government at the moment to receive any food or any basic funds, but we are doing pleas for food vouchers and electricity vouchers. They've actually sanctioned that it must all go to their depot in Boysons, and it will be distributed from there to causes that they see fit.
So I think for South Africans, it really says to me that we are not in a place where we're being treated as adults.
There was a law, or not a law, but that judge ruled that all food of all the NPOs in South Africa must go to the ANC and they will distribute it.
We aren't the first people to come in, but you know what we did do? We just had no red tape around getting the money, buying the food, and getting it to the people.
Only thing keeping us locked down now is fear. And we have every right to fear the virus. We have every right to worry about the health of our loved ones, and particularly those who are at high risk. We have every right to feel unsure about the future and what our world will look like 3 months, 6 months, or a year from now. But this is not the reason to remain locked down. We cannot afford to remain trapped by fear alone. If there is a good reason for maintaining the lockdown based on a scientific modeling of this pandemic, then we as citizens need to know what this reason is. We need to see government's modeling. If no reason and no modeling can be shared, then we have no choice but to suspect that government is acting irrationally or deliberately instilling fear to further another agenda.